The following is a fan-based parody. The rights to the Poirot TV show belong to ITV and the rights to the Poirot novels belong to the Agatha Christie estate. Please support the official release. Welcome back to another episode of True Crime Fiction. What we do here is take crime fiction stories and turn them into a true crime narrative. That way you get to enjoy all the thrill and intrigue of a true crime story without all of the gory details. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get more captivating content, and share the video so that more people can join in. With that out of the way, enjoy the show. This is The Incredible Theft. We start our story out at an airfield owned by Lord Charles Mayfield, who is waiting for a certain guest. Said guest is taking a lot of time to come, and Charles is on the verge of losing his patient when none other than Air Marshal Sir George Carrington arrive on the scene. Any bad blood between the two is quickly wiped away when shakes hand and give each other a big old hug. Charles then has some of the airmen open the doors to a very large hangar with his name written all over it, quite literally. He is nothing if not a little vain. Out of said hangar comes a brand new type of aircraft. The men wheel it as far as they can, and then the pilot starts the engine, and Sir Carrington eagerly await the demonstration. He is impressed by the speed of the aircraft and also the turning angle. The fuel injection system leaves something to be desired, by Mayfield assures him that they simply need to work out a better system, and that things are well on their way. The aircraft, nicknamed the Kestrel, swoops around and makes a low-level dive right over our two friends. Carrington ducks as the aircraft makes its way over him, but Mayfield remains quite steady. He is quite proud of this little aircraft, and there should be. As it makes its way round again, it fires at a stationary jeep target and destroys it with ease, and leaves nothing but a smoking pile of rubble. Again, Carrington is impressed with the whole demonstration, but all is not right. Mayfield gets a bit annoyed and says that he can't foot the bill for all of the research and development of the Kestrel, and that the government needs to help him out if they want to see the full potential of the aircraft. Carrington is a bit hesitant on account of some business with the Japanese, and how just one more scandal could bring down the whole company. Mayfield is infuriated at such a suggestion and assures him that there are no more scandals in store, and is angry at the mere idea that the British government does not trust him. But he has a plan to silence all of his doubters. You see, he has invited Mrs. Vanderlyn, an American socialite and heiress, to his house. Carrington is shocked and alarmed at such a plan. Why would he do such a thing, and more to the point, how will this prove a trustable man? Mayfield responds that he plans to use the plans for the Kestrel as bait. What exactly this means we do not know, but one thing is for certain. Carrington is even more alarmed at the crazy plan and protests as hard as he can, but to no avail. Now to something a little less urgent. Hercule Poirot teaching Hastings the importance of proper shoe care. According to him, the key is to use petroleum jelly and rub it well in so that the leather does not crack. Hastings is not listening to the vital, life-saving advice and is droning on about some kind of architecture. Poirot is offended that Hastings is not listening to his crucial advice, and admonished the man, saying that his head is in the clouds on account of some lady that has caught his fancy. Hastings claps back, saying the matter is one of frustration. You see, he has been seeing this woman for a while now, but they have little in common to talk about. Every time he tries to go to her house, he ends up having afternoon tea with her mother. This conversation goes on for a while until the duo are interrupted by Miss Lemon.
Sacré! What a terrible circumstance!
There's no need to be sarcastic, Mr. Poirot. I was going on to say that I didn't put her through to you because she wouldn't give her name.
Huh.
I told you don't take anonymous phone calls.
But I do, Miss Lemon. Sometimes I think anonymous telephone calls are the only ones worth taking.
But how will I know where to file her if I haven't got a name?
Life first, Miss Lemon. Filing second.
Very well, then. Next time she calls, I'll let her talk to you. And on your own head be it.
You shouldn't tease her, Poirot.
She makes it irresistible.
Some time passes and the mystery walls again. This time she goes by Mrs. Smith, and this time Miss Lemon actually forwards the call to Poirot, who waits with bated breath. All sorts of possibilities could be on the other end of that phone. Espionage, murder, and ransom are all possibilities, and Poirot picks up the call. The woman does not say much other than the call is of national importance. She won't even agree to meet him at his office in Whitehaven Mansion, as someone could follow her to the place and discover her whereabouts. Poirot agrees on one condition: that she wear a green carnation, a type of flower, and that he will carry a copy of the Times with him. That way they can identify each other, and there will be no blunder or mess-up that could jeopardize the secret meeting. Mrs. Smith agrees to the deal and they meet up at a local zoo. The time comes and the two are standing near each other, but neither of them make a move. Even though they both know who the other is, as much as can be told from a phone call, that is. Mrs. Smith makes the first moves and call out to Poirot. He does not believe the woman, as she is not carrying the green carnation that was agreed upon. She says that she wanted to study him and get to know him before making a commitment. Poirot admonished the woman for not holding up her end of the bargain, but agrees to hear her out. They take a small stroll to a nice secluded place so they can talk in private. Mrs. Smith reveals that she is not Mrs. Smith, but in fact Mrs. Mayfield, the wife of Mr. Mayfield from the start of our story, and that she is very worried about her husband inviting Mrs. Vanderlyn to his mansion. On hearing about this, Poirot insists that he does not meddle in domestic affair and bids her farewell, but he assures that this is not simple domestic affair, but one of national importance. He agrees to listen, and she tells him that Mrs. Vanderlyn is a very dangerous woman, and that she has pro-German sympathies. Remember, we are talking about Germany in the mid to late 1930s here, and the spectre of war haunts the country. She goes on further.
Mrs. Vanderlyn is rumoured to have pro-German sympathies. There was a scandal 2 years ago with the young Marquis of Lowestoft. He shot himself.
Yes, I remember. Mrs. Vanderlyn was involved?
Yes. It was thought that he'd passed on to her certain secret information.
I did not know that.
It was kept hushed up as much as possible. His regiment had been involved in testing the Galahad tank.
And you think...
My husband is engaged in a lot of projects that are crucial to the future of this country if an enemy should gain access.
Surely you do not suspect your husband of treachery?
No, of course not. But the government has treated him very badly ever since that Japanese business. You must have read about it. Even though his name was cleared, they still don't give him the backing he needs. Bitterness may make him less careful than he should be. Please help me, Monsieur Poirot. There is so much at stake for England.
Poirot makes his way to the house. Well, I say house. It's actually a mansion, given the size of the whole thing. It looks more like an old university campus than a place that someone would actually live in. But Poirot used to these types of places and makes his way to where a whole number of guests are having some lovely refreshments. Mr. and Mrs. Mayfield, Mr. Albert Carlyle, who is Mr. Mayfield's secretary, and Mrs. Carrington. Mr. Carrington is there but having a rather awkward conversation with his son Reggie. You see, Reggie is quite a youthful and defiant man who does not approve of Mr. Mayfield and the whole business of arms manufacturing, and even goes so far as to call the man a merchant of death. His dad tries to calm him down by saying the government needs to stay ahead of the game, but that only draws more ire from the young man as he chastises his father for calling of this a silly game. He's able to give a little information that this mysterious Vanderlyn is the daughter of the American ambassador to Great Britain, so everyone is on their best behavior, so that relations between the two countries are as smooth as possible. Speaking of which, the woman of the hour arrives on the scene and makes a very big scene. Everyone present goes out of their way to make sure she has the best time during her short little visit to England. Even Reggie, who isn't too keen on the Americans, is on his best behavior. What exactly Mr. Mayfield's plan with her, or how it would prove his trustworthiness to the British government, is uncertain, but, at least for now, the plan is laid in motion. Evening fast approaches and Mr. Carlyle is sorting out some paperwork. He takes some top-secret documents from a safe and puts them on the desk, and carries on with all his work to the point of missing out in the big dinner. Everyone is having a great time. The food is great, the music is nice, and the conversation is gripping. The talk is all about the Foreign Office, and the response to Germany and Italy rearming. Britain wants to make some move against the two powers, but does not want to come off as the aggressor in the eyes of the world. Mrs. Vanderlyn keeps quiet with regards to anything concerning Germany. Whether this is due to her hiding her alleged allegiance/sympathies, or that she has not say in the matter, we do not know yet. What we do know is that she did have what she called a lovely visit with Anthony Eden, the foreign minister, and praised the British and their stiff upper lip. As the dinner finishes and all the servants are milling about and cleaning up the place, everyone gets up and gets ready for some rest and relaxation, and a little bit of fun, in more ways than one.
Actually, the whole European situation's rather like a bridge game at the moment. On the one hand, we have the diminutive Führer. On the other hand, Signor Mussolini, the bullfrog of the Pontine marshes. In the end, they'll both need taking down a peg or two.
And what about the Emperor Hirohito, sir? Will he need taking down a peg?
What did he say? Has he said something nasty again? He's such a little snot, aren't you, darling?
While Poirot is going out for his little walk, he does bump into Hastings, who isn't having quite as fun with his evening. He wants to stay at the house, and who can blame him? It's not every day one has the chance to stay in a lavish mansion with all the best food. And Poirot insists that he was not invited, so he cannot stay, but there is a secret second purpose to their odd separation. Poirot wants Hastings to remain incognito and very nearby. All of that goes out of the window when Hastings reveals that he just so happens to have bumped into Chief Inspector Jack at the local pub, and even worse, has to share a bed with him. The two are friends, but this is still a very awkward situation for the two. Poirot is quite surprised at all of this. Why would the Chief Inspector even be here, and what business could he have? He suspects it could all be to do with this Mrs. Vanderlyn, and keeps out a watchful eye. Evening comes and all the guests get ready to go to sleep for the night. Well, all the guests except for Mrs. Vanderlyn, who goes wandering round the house. She takes quite a long time looking for something in particular. What exactly it is, we do not know. While all this is going on, Mayfield and Carrington are having a stroll round the gardens and having a chat about the idea of tracking aircraft via radio echoes. Carrington says that the government is very serious about the matter and has already spent a lot of money on the whole project. Mr. Mayfield stops in his tracks and demands to know just how much money has been spent. He is still upset at the refusal of the government to fund his aircraft project. Carrington says that he can't give him that much information. Mayfield insists on the matter, but both men are interrupted by Mrs. Vanderlyn switching on the light. She insists that she's just looking for the handbag, and since they can't prove otherwise, both men leave the matter at just that. Carrington asks exactly how he plans to ensnare the woman, but Mayfield responds that he can't give up that much information, at which he spots someone in the distance. Caring says that he can't see nor hear anyone. Mayfield assure him that there is someone in the distance, but since no one can make out anything in the dark, they both make their way to the central office of the mansion, where Carlyle is waiting for them. He has finished all the relevant work. He says so, but something soon comes to light which could throw a spanner into the works.
I've laid everything out on the desk, sir. Will you want me any more tonight?
No, we'll probably be late. You might as well turn in. I'll lock these away myself.
Right. Good night, Mr. Mayfield. Sir George.
Just a minute. You've forgotten the most important paper.
I don't think so, sir.
Sheet number 3, the mathematics for the aluminium stressing.
I put it on the top.
Well, it isn't here.
I don't understand. I put it here. I know I did.
No, you must have made a mistake. It must still be in the safe.
No, I put it there. I looked for it particularly and put it on the top.
Do you mean to tell me it's gone?
Who's been in this room?
Carrington goes to congratulate Mayfield, but something is very wrong. This was not part of any plan that Mayfield had, which is a sign that the whole situation has gone very wrong, and that his little gamble has backfired big time. Let's hope that Poirot can pull him out of whatever mess he has dug himself into. He starts by getting all three men into the same room for some informal questioning. The first thing he asks is what was even in those papers that makes them so important. What kind of information could make the three men so on edge? Mayfield says that since Germany announced that they had an air force equal to that of Great Britain, it was of a matter of life and death that someone find a way to fight back against the Germans. That's why he poured so much money into the Kestrel project. Even if the government gave him not a single penny, Mayfield would use any and all funds necessary to complete the project. Carrington assures Poirot that this really is a matter of life and death. Poirot then turns to Mr. Carlyle and asks him if he left the room or not, and the man says no come hell or high water. Carrington then mentions the little detail of Mrs. Vanderlyn searching for her bag. Poirot immediately smells a rat and does not believe for a single second that she was telling the truth. He knows that she was up to something nefarious. The problem, however, is that once Carlyle had taken out the papers from the safe, he did not leave the room. Or so he just said, and Poirot questions the man again, and he asserts his innocence again. At this point, Mayfield becomes rather angry. Carlyle has been his secretary for over a decade at this point, and he trusts the man with his life. If wanted to do so, he could have stolen the documents at any point in time, delivered them to the Germans, and become a very wealthy man. He starts shouting at Poirot, who tells everyone that he believes Carlyle to be innocent. It is just that, by all information available, no one else could have stolen the documents. This little problem is sure to excite his little grey cells and really put them to work. Our little quartet move around the house trying to find any possible angle to which a thief may be been able to escape. Mayfield brings up the mysterious figure that he saw when he was out for a walk with Mr. Carrington. He is convinced that this person, whoever they may be, was the one to steal the documents. He seems to think that this thief has already gotten away and there is no hope of catching them. Poirot is not so sure, and they would have had to go past his room, and he most certainly would have seen them running and driving away. He comes to the conclusion that the thief has to be someone in the building with them right now, and the documents must still be with them. Reggie finds his way downstairs and wants all of the juicy details. He seems to think all of this a big game, which is rather ironic. Carrington tells his son to go back to bed, but he remains defiant and just sits down on the stairs, and his dad, not willing to deal with him at the moment, simply ignores him. At this point in the story, the police arrive on the scene and we are greeted with the presence of Chief Inspector Jack and a number of police. Someone must have called them already, as we know from Captain Hastings. We just don't know who. Jack gets to questioning right away and he wants to know exactly what is going on. Carrington replies that top secret documents have been stolen and the matter is one of national importance, and even goes as far as to accuse Mrs. Vanderlyn of stealing the documents. Mayfield is a bit hesitant of going this far without any such evidence, even if he suspects her, and tries to make his objection clear. But Carrington is having none of this, and tells Jack that Mrs. Vanderlyn is the thief behind this all. Even though the house is not his, he takes charge, given this is all a matter of national security. The chief inspector gets to work right away and has his men search all over the place, leaving no stone unturned. Poirot says that the job may not be so simple, to which Jack simply scoffs at him, saying this is an everyday occurrence for him and that he has founded dozens of documents thought to have been lost or stolen. Reggie scoffs back at the idea and looks on with a sense of wry amusement. The police go up to the room of Mrs. Vanderlyn, and at first she is simply confused with everything going on and just wants to get back to sleep. But when the police remain at her doorside, she gets very upset at everyone. Jack tries to be as nice as possible, but she is having none of it. She even accuses Mayfield of planning this whole thing, and the man just sheepishly stands there not saying a single word. He can't even look her in the eye as she stares into his soul. Mrs. Vanderlyn takes the time to get ready. A lot of time. Jack tries to get her to hurry up, but she takes her sweet time. Once she is ready, she reveals her outfit of a dark beige suit, a black wide-brimmed hat, and a comically large feather bow. She is making a farce out of the whole situation. Mayfield makes his way to the station and Carrington stays behind and has a little chat with Poirot. Mrs. Vanderlyn is questioned, searched, and interrogated, but nothing comes up. Not even a crumb of evidence to tie her to anything. Jack is frustrated, but with no other choice, the police let her go and she doesn't say a single word as she makes her way back to the mansion and prepares to go back to America. Mayfield also makes his way back, but for very different reasons. He goes to Carrington and tells him of the whole situation. He seems to think that the woman must have hid the papers and that she still plans to sell them to the Germans, but now that the police are on to her, she will be extra careful. Poirot comes out of the shadow and asserts with great confidence that Mrs. Vanderlyn is innocent. The very next morning, Poirot makes his way to Hastings, who is having a lovely scrambled eggs and bacon. But that seems to be the only good thing about the captain's day at all. It seems that sharing the bed with Chief Inspector Jack is taking a toll on him.
Poirot, my dear fellow, I promise you, you've never had anything like it. You know those boots he wears? Bang. The other one, crash. When he finally gets into bed, it's worse.
Worse?
He talks in his sleep. Now I've got you, young fella, my lad. Jab of the yard, strikes again. I thought I'd go mad. Every time I manage to drop off, he starts shouting. Stand back, lads, he's got a blancmange. Some of the things he was saying were enough to make a cat laugh. I can't take much more of it, Poirot. I've been through 3 days of a jerry barrage.
Where is he now?
Gone back up to the house. By the way, I found out who asked him down. It was Sir George.
Not Monsieur Mayfield.
Apparently not.
Just as I thought.
The conversation turns to a more serious topic as Poirot asks what this whole business with Japan was. If you remember, Reggie made a sly comment about Emperor Hirohito, and ever since, Poirot has kept this idea in the back of his mind. Hastings tells him that he was accused of selling the arms and weaponry that the Japanese used to invade Manchuria. The press picked up the whole story and it spread like wildfire, but the press, in their effort to print a juicy scoop, had got the wrong end of the stick. They corrected their mistake, but story had already made its way to government and Mayfield's reputation was ruined. With this crucial piece of information, Poirot makes his way back to the mansion. Hastings offers to give him a ride, but he insists of walking his way. He wants to give his little grey cells time to work. As he approaches the mansion, he sees that Mrs. Vanderlyn is just about to depart. The butler hands her a red suitcase and she hands the butler an envelope. Poirot looks on with a keen eye as he suspects something is afoot. He makes his way inside and pockets the little letter for himself. Eventually, Hastings makes his way to the mansion, and when Poirot finds out, he runs towards him as fast as he can, and urges him that they must follow Mrs. Vanderlyn at once, and so they make their way at once, and luckily they are able to keep up with her. She notices all of this and urges the driver to make haste, but there is only so much she can do to escape, and so she waits. Meanwhile, Hastings hands out a map to Poirot so that he can figure out just where the lady is going. He reads out a few places, and Hastings thinks nothing of them. Eventually, one of the places ring a bell, and they realize that their current route will take them past the German embassy, and they make haste. Hastings really puts his foot on the gas to try and catch up to Mrs. Vanderlyn. Poirot tries to tell him to stay out of sight, but the roads are fairly straightforward, and they are easily spotted. As a last resort, they both try to take a different route to catch up with their assailant. Less cross-country and more through-country. No matter how hard they try, it is not enough to stop her, and Mrs. Vanderlyn makes her easy to the German embassy and hands the attendant that red suitcase from containing the secret plans for the Kestrel. Poirot and Hastings are at least able to watch on from behind some bushes, but that is of little comfort. Back at the mansion, the police are still at work trying to dig up the place to find the lost documents. Mayfield assures his wife that everything is going to be all right when Poirot arrives on the scene. He casually mentions that the plans have been delivered. Mrs. Mayfield is distraught. She doesn't quite cry, but she seems on the verge of doing so. Poirot hands her the envelope containing the letter written by Mrs. Vanderlyn. At first, Mrs. Mayfield does not want to look through the mail of her guests, but Poirot insists. She relents and opens the letter to find that she can't read a single word. She thinks the letter is written in Chinese, but in fact, the letter is Japanese. Specifically, the letter contains evidence of business correspondence between Mr. Mayfield and the Japanese government. Of course, the letter does not show that he sold any weapons to their government, but his reputation was already fragile, and even this little detail could bring him to ruin. Mrs. Vanderlyn sought to blackmail him. She would give him the letter in exchange for the details, and he would give her the plans for the Kestrel. Mrs. Mayfield is furious, but Poirot is cool, calm and collected, and even brings himself to smile. At that point, Mr. Carrington barges into the door and demands to know what is going on. Upon learning of the treachery, he is gobsmacked and speechless. Poirot assures him there is nothing to worry about and implores Carlyle to reveal all. Mr. Mayfield gives his approval and Carlyle tells all. Yes, Mr. Mayfield did give the documents to Mrs. Vanderlyn, but they were ever so slightly fake. You see, the documents now in the hands of the Germans were carefully doctored so they would appear to be genuine, so they would think they are real, and spend months of time and lots of money trying to reverse engineer the Kestrel, only to find out it was all a waste of time. Carrington can't believe it, but Mayfield assures him that it is all real and they congratulate each other on a job well done. Mrs. Mayfield is relieved and Poirot looks on with a small smile. Even though he did not stop a crime, he can rest east with the satisfaction that he was able to figure out the whole plan and that England will be just that little bit safer. As he, Captain Hastings and Chief Inspector Jack all get in the car to leave, they have a nice little chat about all that has happened today.
Goes against the grain, letting that Vanderlyn woman go scot-free.
Ah, she will pay eventually, mon ami. For the moment, let her enjoy what she thinks is her triumph.
If you ask me, it just shows the dangers of meeting anonymous women at the zoo. In you go, Jap.
Well, Lady Margaret got what she wanted anyway. Her and Mayfield are all lovey-dovey again. Must be depressing for you when that sort of thing happens, eh, Poirot?
What sort of thing?
Well, everything working out for the best. Some married couple ready for a second honeymoon. Orphaned children reunited with their parents.
Yes, it is hard. But we must put on it a brave face, huh? And not allow cheerfulness to keep breaking through. Drive on, Hastings.
That's it for today, folks. That was The Incredible Theft. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our newest episode, and remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for future content, and share the video so everyone can join in on the fun. Again, thank you for your time, and I bid you farewell.